Hi, this is Alan Bodner, art director, and you're listening to Skull Rock Podcast.
This is animator Ron Husband, and you're listening to the Skull Rock Podcast.
Skull Rock Podcast, where you hear the stories behind the adventures. With your hosts, Aljon and Dave Bossert.
Welcome to Skull Rock Podcast. Every week we dig into the Disney galaxy with real stories, behind-the-scenes moments you haven't heard, and the people who lived it. I'm Aljon, musician and longtime Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars fan, and pop culturist.
And I'm Dave Bossert, artist, filmmaker, author, and I'm starting a new lap around the sun. Welcome to the Skull Rock Podcast. Aljon, we have so much to cover, but I do want to tease the fact that we have part 2 dropping of Joaquím Royo, who is a color stylist, visual development artist, art director who lives in Spain. I hope our listeners enjoyed part 1. And I know you and I both butchered his name last week, but at least I got it right on the, when I introduced him on the interview, because I did practice with him how to pronounce his first name, which is Joaquím Royo.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, Joaquím Royo. And my apologies, I too butchered his name. But once again, it was a great interview, Dave. And before we get into it, Dave, happy birthday. You sly dog. You just slid it in there, celebrating another lap around the sun. Happy birthday weekend to you, Dave. Many, many more happy returns to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I got a lot of really wonderful messages from people on my Facebook page. I did pop up, by the way, a photo of myself with John Cleese, who I had the pleasure of working with. And 20 years ago on my birthday, I was with him recording in a studio in Monaco on the Mediterranean, the Principality of Monaco.
Can I show this? Can I show it?
Oh yeah, put it up. Yeah, put it up.
There you go.
You can put it there. There I am.
There you go.
With John. And by the way, I say in the little story I wrote, that John is very tall. I think he's like 6'5". And so I am standing on a step there was a step up into the studio, and I'm standing on the step, and John is just on the other side of the step, not obviously on it. So it brought me up to eye level with him.
That is hilarious. I love it. It was taken, what is it, in 2006, you said?
2006. So it was 20 years ago this past weekend.
Oh my gosh.
That I was with him in Monaco. And you might say, why Monaco? Well, it turned out that, we had hired John to be the narrator for a series of Winnie the Pooh educational films that I did.
Oh, that's right.
And so I had the pleasure of recording John in London. And then for tax reasons, he had moved to Monaco, and he couldn't leave Monaco for a period of time, like 6 months or something like that. So the second recording session we had to do in Monaco. And so
Amazing.
I flew over there for that. And then the third recording session I did with him was in Melbourne, Australia. And did you hear that, folks? I said Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Because that's how you pronounce Melbourne. It's not Melbourne. It's not Melbourne like all the Americans say. It's Melbourne.
Like a true
Melbourne,
local.
Australia. Okay. Anyway, he absolutely was one of the nicest people I've ever had the opportunity to work with. He was funny. He was collaborative. Just a really terrific individual, and I have very fond memories of spending time with him. And especially the dinner I had with him in Monaco after we did the recording session, and the fact that he brought me a birthday card. And the reason why he found out that it was my birthday, Aljon,
Yes.
was because while we were in the recording session, I got a phone call from my wife, Nancy, who was in Los Angeles, to wish me a happy birthday. And so I said, John, can we just take 5 here? I said, my wife's calling. And so I ducked out and I talked to my wife, and when I came back in, he said, "Is everything okay?" I was like, "Oh, no, everything's fine." I go, "It's just my birthday today, and my wife was calling to wish me a happy birthday." He says, "It's your birthday today?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh my God," and then we went on and finished the recording session, and we went for a walk around the harbor afterwards, and then we went to our hotels or wherever he was living, and I went to my hotel, and then we met at this wonderful restaurant that overlooked the harbor and the Mediterranean, and he literally walked in like he was in Faulty Towers. He had this stride to him. And when he got up to the table, he like bent over at the waist and he placed the birthday card in front of me on the table. And with a big smile, he said, "Happy birthday, Dave."
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like Basil Fawlty was wishing me happy birthday.
Well, he was.
Well, he was.
Because he was.
Anyway, so I digress. Listen, we got a lot to cover today. I do want to mention a couple of things. First and foremost, I want to let people know I posted a little description of animation workbooks, because I popped up some photos of my Fantasia workbooks that I found on in a box as I've been continuing to unpack stuff. And somebody said, "Can we see on the inside?" So on my Patreon page, I put up a video and a description of what these workbooks are. So if you want to learn something, you can go to my Patreon page. And there's a video of me opening the workbook and flipping through it and talking. It's a couple of minute video, so you can see that. Also on my Patreon page, I put up 5 separate spreads from my new book, Walt Disney World War II Animation on the Front Lines, which is coming out in like 3 months. And you can see a sneak peek of that. So please go check out my Patreon page. Now, the other thing I want to mention, Aljon, is our friend Arnie, who is showing the Puppetoon movie Director's Cut Restoration at the British Film Institute in the South Bank. We mentioned it last week, but it's happening this month in London. So for our listeners over in London and the surrounding European area, check out the British Film Institute screening of the Puppetoon movie Director's Cut Restoration. And you can see all. Aljon, you have the link in the show notes. Okay.
Oh, yes.
So with that, I think we should move on to our listener email and what we're watching and get this show on the road.
Absolutely. We are now with the listener email, and I have to say one of our co-conspirators, our big crew member, Chris Banis, has messaged me and you. And I will say that our Patreon for Skull Rock Podcast has been down, but it's going to be back up soon. And when it's up and running, we'll let you know, and hopefully everybody will be happy and we'll be able to get some really cool stuff posted on it real soon. But she gives us this really note about Muppet Treasure Island, Dave.
She does. She says, "Hi, Dave and Aljon. I just wanted to share a recent experience we had going to the movies. We went to see Muppet Treasure Island on the big screen for the 30th anniversary of the film. It was so fun to see it like that again. When I saw it in the theater for the first time, my boys were 6 and 4. Now they are in their mid-30s. I got a few tears in my eyes a few times thinking back at the first time. Paul and I had some great laughs watching this again. The adult humor in this film is second to none. Keep up the great work on the podcast. It's always enjoyable and enlightening. Your dedicated crew member, Chris Banis." Well, Chris, thank you so much. And I'm glad you sent that note, because I had no idea that Muppet Treasure Island was in the theaters. And by the way, Chris, you had me at Muppets, because I just love the Muppets,
Yes.
But I would have liked to have seen that. It wasn't playing in my area, but I would have liked to have seen it in the theater, because that is a fun movie.
It's great. And I love Tim Curry.
Yes.
And Tim Curry recently did, I think, sometimes they do these actors residencies, and Tim Curry's mobility is not very, very good. He's been sick over the past few years. He's had health issues, but they brought him in and he talked about a little bit about Muppet Treasure Island. And I thought it was really, really cool. He did some kind of educational residency in New York, and I ended up watching some of it on YouTube. Check it out if you can. But it really is. I mean, Muppets they're at their very best when they do these spoofs, much like they do the Rock and Roller Coaster. There was a video essay, I think, that was put out there this week about how the Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster is one of the best retheming of a current attraction, because they spoof not only the Rock and Roller Coaster, but just rock and roll and everything about the Electric Mayhem Band and the debauchery of the Muppet Show and little things about it. But you're absolutely right. Muppet Treasure Island is a treasure. It is a wonderful film. Tim Curry's amazing, and the Muppets are amazing in it. So,
and something, I have so much respect for Tim Curry, because he had a stroke quite a number of years ago.
that's it.
And he does have limited mobility, and his speech has been impaired a little bit, but he is putting himself out there. He's doing interviews and he's doing stuff, and I am so glad he is.
Same. And I was a big fan of Tim Curry from the get-go, and especially when I did my college rendition of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Were you going to screenings at midnight with fishnet stockings on?
I did not do that, Dave. I was more like the guy in the tuxedo with the weird glasses doing the time warp. But
okay.
But I did play Eddie, which was Meatloaf. So you can imagine the Asian Meatloaf. Doing the time warp dance,
Right.
with Frankenfurter in the background. But, I was a big Tim Curry fan, and this is awesome. So Muppet Treasure Island is amazing.
All right.
So thank you. Send us those emails if you will. We'll put our links in the show notes.
Pam, she wrote this great review of my poetry book.
That's my pick.
I read a great review.
Your girlfriend got a great review.
Oh, that's my pick, too. Sorry.
Excuse me while I start the projector.
Skull Rock Podcast, Picks of the Week. And now, Dave, it's time for our Picks of the Week. Dave, what have you been watching?
Well, Aljon, I didn't have a chance to go to the movies, but I did watch a wonderful film called Remarkable Bright Creatures. It's a 2026 film. It dropped on Netflix a few months ago, and it's based on a book that's been out for a while. And I will tell you, Nancy actually read the book and loved it, and so we watched The Remarkable Bright Creatures, which is through an unlikely bonds formed during night shifts at a local aquarium. Tova, an elderly widow, learns of a life-changing discovery that may bring her joy and wonder once again. And so this film stars Sally Field as Tova Sullivan, Lewis Pullman as Cameron Casemore, and the voice of the octopus that's in this. It's a real I should say it's a CG octopus. Is voiced by Alfred Molina. He voices Marsalis, the octopus.
What you mean? Are you telling me that Doc Ock plays an octopus?
Yes, absolutely. He does the voice.
And you have Aunt May in here.
Colin Meaney, the great Scottish actor.
I love Colin Meaney. He's so good.
Yeah, he's in it. Catherine Baker, Joan Chen, Laura Harris, Beth Grant. It's really a very wonderful movie. It has a great heart to it. It's shot in a beautiful location up in British Columbia. That's a stand-in for the coast of Washington State. Rotten Tomatoes gives this 85%, IMDb 7.7 out of 10. This is a beautifully done movie, and I really enjoyed it. It has a great emotional heart to it. So check that out on Netflix. Remarkable Bright Creatures. It's a beautiful film.
Before you move on, Dave, I have to
yeah.
say that Lewis Pullman looks just like his father. Look at that
I know.
photo
I
with
know.
Sally Field.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
really, it's a great cast and a wonderfully made movie. I one slight criticism: the opening shot of the octopus under, in the sea is bad CG to me. It wasn't done. It wasn't done as well as it could have been, but I'm gonna forgive it because the rest of the film seemed flawless to me. Why they let that opening shot go through is beyond me. I don't know. I mean, just
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
it just pisses me off. It's like that bird flying in the beginning of where the crawdads sing.
Right.
It's like, come on, people.
Oh man.
Anyway, good. But you
Okay.
should watch Remarkable Bright Creatures. I guarantee you're going to love it. Now,
Nice.
the next film, we've had both, look, the filmmaker and the subject of the film on our podcast. It's called Huz, Drawn to
Yes.
Life. This is Don Hahn's newest documentary. It's on Ron Husband, who, as you know, Aljon, was a guest for us. And by the way, I'm going to get him back on to talk about just the making of this because it's just really terrific. The overview is artist Ron Husband was the first Black animator at Walt Disney Animation Studios.
So
Husband entered Disney's training program in the 70s. Battling obstacles, he became a vital contributor to animated classics. This film, and I traded notes with Don Hahn over the weekend, and I sent a note to Ron Husband. Don did a beautiful job on this. It's a 56-minute documentary. It has a lot of folks, contemporaries that Ron had trained with in the 70s. And just to give you all just a little brief on this, when the 9 Old Men were starting to retire, they had a training program in-house at Disney Animation, as well as the Cal Arts training program. But in-house at Disney, they brought in people in the early to mid-70s, and they were being mentored by the likes of Eric Larson, Ollie Johnson, Frank Thomas, Wooly Reiterman. And I got to tell you, it was so wonderful seeing all the photographs and some video footage from that period in the 70s, which is really before me, because Aljon, I'm a youngster. And a lot of the folks that are in this documentary are a bit older than I am, and I got to say, Ron is terrific. It was wonderful to see his early childhood and his background leading up to starting to do the training program at Disney under Eric Larson. And this documentary has a wonderful emotional heart to it. It's a beautiful slice of history, a little peek behind the curtain from the 70s into the 80s. And they just briefly touch on some of the other films from later on during the Disney Animation Renaissance, with some of the directors of those films and stuff like that. But it really is very insightful. A lot of folks that we've had on our show: Floyd Norman, John Musker, Kirk Wise, Don Hahn, obviously. But you should absolutely check this out on Disney Plus. Watch Huz. I guarantee you're going to love this documentary. Kudos to Don Hahn for another great film that documents a piece of history here in the Disney universe.
I can't wait to see it, Dave. It's amazing. I'm so glad
it
it's
really
out.
is. It's absolutely terrific. And then, I also finished watching The Bear, the final season 5. A young chef from the fine dining world comes home to Chicago to run his family sandwich shop after a heartbreaking death in the family. A world away from what he's used to, Carmy must balance the soul-crushing realities of small business ownership. His strong-willed and recalcitrant kitchen staff, and his strained family relations, all while grappling with the impact of his brother's suicide. As Carmy fights to transform both the shop and himself, he works alongside a rough around the edges kitchen crew that ultimately reveals itself as his chosen family. This was a fantastic series. Jeremy Allen White stars as Carmy, excuse me. Ayo Abibiribi. I can't pronounce that. Can you pronounce her
I
last
love
name?
it. No, I won't even try. But
she plays Sydney. She's absolutely wonderful. Will Poulter is in this. Molly Gordon, Abby Elliott. You've got John Barenthal, Jamie Lee Curtis. It's just really a fantastic crew. Eben Moss Backrack, and Oliver Platt. I mean, I could go on and on. It's just a fantastic cast. I got to really give a shout out to Maddie Matheson, who plays a character, Neil. And this guy is absolutely fantastic. He's a real chef, by the way. He's a Canadian chef, restaurateur, author. And he is absolutely hilarious as one of the characters, real standout character. But I love the series. All five seasons are on Hulu, so check that out. And then finally, Reacher is back on Amazon Prime in season 4. And I got to tell you, Alan Richardson, who plays Reacher in this series, is getting better and better in every season. And I think it's because he's working a lot. And so, the first season of Reacher, I felt he was a little bit on the stiff side. But season 4, he's absolutely fantastic, and he's funny, So the synopsis is: when retired military police officer Jack Reacher is arrested for a murder he did not commit, he finds himself in the middle of a deadly conspiracy full of dirty cops, shady businessmen, and scheming politicians. That's the gist of season 1. We're in season 4 now, and he's out there to try and do good and help people. Rotten Tomatoes gives this 95%. IMDb gives it 8 out of 10. I think it's a terrific series. And by the way, just to be fair, on The Bear, Rotten Tomatoes gives that 93% and IMDb 8.5. So great series. If you're looking for something to watch on streaming services, check out Reacher or watch The Bear if you haven't seen it. It's really fantastic. And you know something about The Bear, Aljon? I just absolutely loved watching them plating food. Yeah, have you ever been to a restaurant where they plate the food so beautifully? It's a presentation. It's not just slopped on there like you're at a cafeteria or something,
Oh, yeah.
They actually place the food in a composition, and it's just beautifully presented to you.
It's art. It's art, Dave.
It really is culinary art.
Art, yes.
And so, and I experienced that, by the way, over the weekend because Nancy took me to a wonderful restaurant in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, for dinner, and they take pride in plating their food very nicely. So anyway, that's what I've been watching. What have you been watching, Aljon? I know not much.
Well, I'll give a few. So Ice Cream Man, Dave. Ice Cream Man is unhinged.
This is another horror movie, isn't it?
It's a horror movie. You know it. Eli Roth. I'm a huge Eli Roth fan. I am absolutely a huge Eli Roth fan. Everything he does, I'm all about, whether he's starring in it, directing it, writing, directing, whatever you're doing. He's great. This one, however, is not the best. Body horror, dark comedy, slasher horror, splatter horror, zombie horror. So an idyllic summer town descends into madness when an ice cream man serves his kids sweet delights with horrifying results. The old siren song, if you will, the Ice Cream Man. Every single summer growing up, even since I can remember, whether it was in Seattle over at Seaward Park, or whether it was in Nashville, whatever, you hear the sound of the ice cream man, you just go out, yes. What if the ice cream man was totally demonic and crazy and wanted to get revenge on a town because he was wrongfully accused and murdered by the townspeople? It's one part Freddy Krueger and A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's another part zombie horror with kids. So think about Weapons. Remember the movie Weapons, Dave? Did you see it?
I did see Weapons, and I actually thought that was an excellent film. And
it is.
And you know, it got a lot of notoriety last year. It was last year.
Yes, it was last year. Yes.
Because who was it that got the Academy Award? It was Amy.
Oh man. I'm so bad about that.
Look it up really quick. But
well, anyway, I will look at
Amy Madigan. Amy
yes.
Madigan.
Yes.
Amy Madigan received an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in that film. That was really well done, I have to say.
It was really, really good. So, you know, Weapons was really good. This is not. Okay.
Was Weapons done by Eli Roth?
No. Weapons was not done by Eli Roth. Weapons was I just literally just looked it up. Weapons was a film from director Zach Krieger. He was a writer director on it, and you know, it was great. There's a lot of layers to that film. It was well done. I feel like this was Eli Roth's fever dream after watching Weapons. I think it was hastily put together. And although the premise is great with the siren song, revenge on the town, everything was there. It is, there are moments, and those moments come in terms of creative kills and once again, very over the top. So if you're a fan of Eli Roth and you love over the top violence, gore, the craziness of the kids, it's going to deliver on that, but everything else is paper thin. And the twist at the end is good. So while I give it a pass, it's only a mid pass at a 6 out of 10 for me. A lot of people don't like this film. It's 3.9. Eli Roth, do yourself a favor. Go back to doing well-crafted stories like The Green Inferno or something like Cabin Fever, because or Hostel. Dave, you may have seen Hostel.
No, I saw Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever. I mean, that to me is like primetime Eli Roth. I would pass on this. It's just not that good. Next, I did see something awesome. This was awesome, but awesome in a great way because I'm a big fan of Tessa Thompson. So this is a drama called The Listener, and this film right here, if I can get this to share properly, check this out. Tessa Thompson, The Listener, follows a helpline volunteer who's part of a small army that gets on the phone every night, fielding calls from all kinds of people who are feeling broken, lonely, etc. Dave, I have a whole new respect, not only from my personal experience, but this film, about what these people on crisis call lines go through on a nightly or daily basis. These people oftentimes are volunteers. It's directed by Steve Buscemi, by the way. You can see that in the notes. But, you know, Tessa Thompson is in her home. It's basically a ship in a bottle kind of film. It happens in her apartment. She fields these phone calls from some of these people who are sick, some of these people that are super twisted, that have these crazy minds, thoughts. And some of them are just lonely. Some of them are very deeply troubled and they need someone to talk to. And there's no judgment. She takes her stress ball, she squeezes it, she goes through and has the patience of a saint. She listens, there's no judgment. And you can tell she's dealing with it. And all along the while, she's envisioning these people that are calling, whether it's a soldier that is dealing with PTSD, a teenager dealing with mental health crisis, someone that doesn't even listen to them, who feels neglected, or someone that has done heinous things that is using her as almost like a priest to absolve her of her sins. She's not able to do that. But it's a very interesting film. So give it a watch. It's an hour and 36 minutes long. It's an easy watch. Steve Buscemi, I think they did a great job, but Tessa Thompson carries the film. She's the only one in it, and it's
Wow.
from 2022. They shot it within 5 days, I believe, but I think it's really well done. The character doesn't go through your typical arc, of in a story. It's a slice of life.
Okay.
And so give it a shot if you like drama, you want an easy watch, but Tessa Thompson's brilliant. Kudos to that. I give it a 6 out of 10 just because she is amazing.
All right.
Please check it out. That's all I've watched this week. Actually, there's a lot more, but I'm not going to get into it. We have so much to get into. What have you been watching? Let us know, and maybe we'll review it in a future episode.
Like me, they spend all their time studying pop culture that Halliday was obsessed with.
I'm really interested in what I like to call pop culture news.
People know that in 22 minutes they can get their fast, fun pop culture fix.
Skull Rock Podcast. This week in Disney and pop culture.
All right, Dave. Disney and pop culture time. And nothing says Disney and pop culture like the D23 Expo.
Absolutely.
Dave is there was a lot of great stuff going on. For one, the D23 day at Disney's California Adventure was amazing, and I encourage everyone to check this out as of this morning as we record this. They did put the Disney Princess performance online in high definition, and it's amazing.
I did see that. I did see that.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you have everybody from Lea Salonga doing the Mulan song. You have Brandy playing Cinderella, and Susan Egan and Jodie Benson, and there's so many people up there on stage performing those iconic Disney songs. The Alan Menken soundtrack, if you will, really, really well done. And so it was really great. So go out there and see it. But the fan event is huge. And there was a lot of stuff from the movie divisions as well as, Star Wars, Marvel, what have you, Disney parks. Dave, what are your thoughts on this? Because it's been a moment probably since you've visited the D23 Expo.
I went to some of the early ones, and listen, I think they were doing it right early on. I just think, look, I'm a little on the cynical side because I do feel like, it's a huge money grab to just get people into a convention center so that you can pitch them stuff that they'll feel compelled to buy at some point, and
Right.
And I get, look, I think early on when they did this convention, they had outside vendors mixed in, and it felt more like a homespun fan event, like Comic-Con used to be. I mean, even Comic-Con has gotten very big, but
it's
still
huge.
Yeah, but still Comic-Con really caters to the fans. I'm not so sure that this caters to the fans as much, only from the standpoint of vacuuming as much money out of their pockets as possible. I know, again, it sounds cynical, but this is what I'm hearing from a lot of hardcore fans. They're starting to get disillusioned a little bit, And
It's a
look,
lot.
I think it's great for those people that want to dress up and cosplay and be with like-minded folks and all of that. But I kind of wince at the fact that some of these folks are paying thousands of dollars just to get into the into an arena where they can be pitched stuff.
So I get it, Dave. I totally
Yeah.
get it. Look, I was one of those people. Not only was I press for many years for the D23 event, but I paid my tickets. In fact, I paid for my tickets and got invited for press, and I still paid for it because you don't know until the last minute if you're going to be part of the press corps to cover these type of things. But I wanted to make sure I had it because I'd already booked my flight. I needed to do this. Of course, I paid for everything myself.
Well,
But
and by the way, you and I met briefly in the early days of D23,
Yes.
if not at the first or second one.
Yeah,
that they
absolutely.
did, where
Right.
where you interviewed me.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was very early on. And you had your Roy Disney book, which was amazing. And that was really great. And so for me, the D23 Expo is always about the fan community.
Yeah.
You know, I love, you know, just like Comic Cons. Yes, the panels are great and everything. You know, these huge hall events where they talk about their new releases and stuff is all fine. But I loved going to the artist rows, visiting the artists, seeing them work. You know, Eric Robinson is there right now.
Which has diminished over the years.
Sure, sure.
You
I think
know,
it's diminished because yeah. Go
it's
ahead.
it's very tightly controlled now. You know, and there aren't as many as there used to be in those areas, and they've kind of pushed a lot of those outside vendors off to the side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of how things are right now, and it's too bad. I mean, people are there for the panels for sure, but the other part where the fan community gets together, that really is what I enjoyed the most is the community, the
Yeah.
cosplayers, you know, the vendors looking at different collectible items because I was a collector. I used to collect comic books a lot and vinyl figures and stuff like that,
Yeah, I
action
mean
figures. So that was it.
that's the secondary market, you
It
know,
really is.
and that's where people can trade, they can buy, they can resell, you know, and I think they've alienated that part of the fan experience, you know, um,
Yeah. Well,
but
I
you
will
know,
tell
again,
yeah, go ahead, Dave.
I was just gonna say, you know, that's just my opinion of it. I don't knock people who go to it, and I'm happy that they're making these announcements and stuff like that. But you know, I kind of feel like I don't need to be there to hear that they're going to do an Oswald movie or you know they're doing an Oswald thing on Disney Plus. I just don't need to be there for it, you know, or when they show a trailer, I can wait a day and see the trailer on YouTube, you know?
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure, for
yeah.
sure, for sure. You know what? The fan I think what's great is the celebration of the fans.
Yes.
What maybe not so great is how much they're pitching stuff and removing some of the things that I love about the conventions, which is the community stuff, the arts, the smaller booths, the vendors, and the
Yeah,
artists. So,
exactly.
you know, bring more of that stuff back. I think that's really cool. But
But
some of the stuff that happened, I will say, go ahead, Dave. You wanted to
yeah,
say
I was
something
just gonna
else?
say that's what I always felt was the was so great about those first couple of D23s that it felt more homespun. Now it's a real slick Hollywood production, you
No, it
know?
really is. It really
Yeah.
is. And for a
And
long time,
yeah,
I was like,
and
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, for a while, there was a lot of miscommunication that went on because they decided to take the reins and produce it. I said, well, you might as well give it to the same people that run San Diego Comic Con or
Yeah.
C2E2 because they knew how to do it, or Star Wars Celebration because they know how to do it. But you know what? They've seemingly they've grown, they've expanded, they've learned a lot, and it is a juggernaut, Dave. I mean, this thing
Oh
was
no,
sold out.
without question. I mean, there, you know, again, I'm just going to the core of it, which is the fans and the fan experience. And what I'm hearing from hardcore fans that communicate with me, and I know Aljon, you hear it,
Oh
is
yeah.
that they're starting to get fatigued and they feel like there's just this never-ending money grab going on, you know?
Oh yeah.
And I think that's sad when that starts happening because, you know, again, you know, it's like when you have a hit, like, you know, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you know, taking that and putting it on 5 nights a week is a sure way of killing something, you know, and then you know, when you start hearing from the fan base that they feel like the company is just doing a money grab on them and taking as much as they possibly can get out of them, you know,
Sure.
that's going to come back and bite them at some point because people are starting to drift away, you
Yeah.
know, or getting disillusioned a little bit. And I find that sad. And when people have told me that, I just sit there and say, look, I focus on, you know, the the history of the company and the timeline of the company, and not what's necessarily going on today, because the company is a very different company today than it was, even 25 or 30 years ago,
Yes.
let
Yes.
alone 50 or 60 years ago. So anyway,
Agreed.
that's just my cynical little viewpoint. I know I'm just taking the other side of the fence. That's all.
No, it's another side for sure. I do miss it, and I hope one day to be back and cover it, if not just be there as a fan. But there was a lot of great announcements. We'll run
Yeah.
through them just really quick. Princess Diaries 3 was out there. So they announced that. A new Simpsons movie teased by Dana Walden, the chief creative. Also, Avengers Doomsday. They brought out Sadie Sink and Kevin Feige. Sadie Sink, spoiler alert, Dave, you saw Spider-Man, so I don't have to spoil it for you, but Sadie Sink is out there. She's one of the first X-Men announced for the film, and other things unfolded, as well as the entire cast of the X-Men as well. Can you believe it? The entire X-Men cast and Adam Driver. That is awesome, Dave. I mean, they got Adam Driver, which is great.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, let's go over this. The Bluey movie.
Yeah.
They announced that. Looked great. The new Simpsons movie. They talked about that. New Frozen 3. Boy, they're going to mine it. And I think they're finally going to get into this evil Ice Queen business. They teased it slightly. They have the new Pixar Ghost Market, which, by the way, looks brilliant.
Okay.
It looks like a movie that has a little bit of scariness to it, which I'm really digging. They've got the live action Tangled movie. They were shooting in Spain, so they brought Tegan Croft and Milo Mannheim as Flynn. Lilo and Stitch 2. Incredibles 3.
It's going to be terrific.
It's going to be wonderful. I think, Brad Bird's probably going to come back and do stuff for that. They also announced a new yeah, go ahead.
I think Brad Bird's one of the producers, and he handpicked who the director is.
Yeah, so Elemental's Peter Sohn is going to be doing it, which is they've worked together in a lot of films. So
exactly.
That'll be really cool. And Dave, I know you know them both. Clay. All right, so they announced a new Clay after Hexed, and it'll star Oscar winner Kieran Culkin as a character Clay who becomes a mentor to a piece of clay named Mushi. That looks very, very interesting to me, and I'm hoping that'll look really nice. So there's a bunch of different things that they had on here. Coco, huge announcement for that. And then Avatar 4, December 21st of 2029, Dave. I mean,
all right.
They're going to keep on running that Avatar, aren't they?
Well, I think he has a lot of story to tell, James Cameron, and this was always part of the plan, was to do the multiple movies. So I've enjoyed all of the Avatar films. I think they're just really well done.
Yes, absolutely. So there was that. And then it looked like they had Avengers Doomsday, X-Men. We talked a little bit about that. How about this, Dave? We talked a little bit about the what was it? The first look at the Carousel of Progress. And, they're going to be changing the scene and having animatronic Walt start off the Carousel of Progress. Here's a look at some of the stuff that they're doing in kind of that mod retro design, Dave. What are your thoughts on the new Carousel of Progress?
Look, I think it's fantastic that they're refreshing the Carousel of Progress, as they should. They should have done it years ago. I think this is an attraction that should be refreshed every decade,
Dave, do you know that they're going to have Jamie Lee Curtis and Bryan Cranston provide the voice of mom and father?
Fantastic.
How about that?
I think it's
something
great.
A little different.
Yeah.
They also announced that Journey into Imagination with Figment is going to get a facelift, Dave.
That's going to make a lot of fans happy.
Well, Dreamfinder is going to be at play here, so they're going to be fixing some of the people's concerns. And not only are they fixing that, Dave, they're fixing the Yeti. They're fixing the Yeti, Joe Rohde's Yeti, that's been broken and sitting in a state of non-working strobe light mania. We call him the Disco Yeti. there over there at Expedition Everest is getting fixed. That's the word on the street.
I think that's fantastic. It should be fixed. You know, I have a wonderful memory from Expedition Everest. I rode that with Roy Disney.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to find that photo and scan it and put it up. You know,
I'd love for you to. I would love for you to.
It was
We also
very wonderful.
I can't wait. Also, we're speed running through this, Dave. Look at this. This is the brand new, what is it? The Piston Peak National Park, which is going to be taking over Frontierland, Dave.
All of Frontierland?
Most of it. Look at it.
Wow.
Look
So
at
are they going to get rid of a lot of the original stuff in Frontierland, or is this just down in Walt Disney World?
That is my understanding.
Magic Kingdom.
And this is Magic Kingdom.
Walt Disney World. Okay.
So yeah, Disney World there is. So take a look at these the little miniatures and the maquettes here for it. So that I've got the model. And I mean, this is a step once again, Dave. You said in Walt's quote, you know, the theme park is not supposed to be a museum, that it's ever growing and ever changing.
That's right.
And this is huge facelift for that section, driving the relevance that they're looking for. And I would think that Josh tomorrow is completely on board with some of these things, because he's moving forward with it.
Yeah, I think it's terrific.
Monstropolis opening in Hollywood Studios in 2027. And there's also a look at Antonio's Fiesta de Encanto, featuring the Encanto cast. So that happened as well. There's a bunch of stuff going on with that. So 4 billion fans spanning the parks there at D23. It's sold out at the expo. Just insane amounts of stuff happening, Dave. But I will want to show you something that we talked about. You know, Dave, I'm a big fan of Oswald. Your book helped me with that, helped fan my fandom of it. And this right here is it's pretty awesome. I'm wearing my Oswald shirt, and I want to skip through this video because they are doing an Oswald series. Did you see this?
Yeah, no, I saw this trail. Well, I saw the clip that they showed at D23. I did see this, and I think it's wonderful. I'm so glad that it was done 2D. It looks fantastic. I love the model. He, you know, as Jon Favreau announced, they had a lot of great 2D artists on it. Sergio Pablos from Spain was involved, and I'm sure when I see the credits roll, there's going to be a lot of familiar people doing some great 2D animation on this. But
look at that! Look at Oswald.
No,
look at Oswald.
It's a live action animation combination, a la Roger Rabbit. Here's Oswald in Walt's office. It's absolutely terrific. I absolutely love it. I thought it looked fantastic. I can't wait to see this when it drops on Disney Plus. It's a 3-part limited series, I guess.
Yeah. So Oswald, Jon Favreau's hybrid series debuts February 17th on Disney Plus with 3 episodes. So look at that. I mean, that's the piano in Walt's office right there.
No,
I mean, that is awesome.
It's the piano that Richard Sherman used to tickle the keys at.
I love that. And look at that. I mean, I'm wearing my Oswald shirt as tribute to you and
thank you,
Oswald.
Yeah, my Oswald book is right there on the shelf behind me. There you go.
Same. There's mine. There's my book, along with the rest of Dave's collection. But once again, I'm really, really excited about that as well. There's a lot of really cool stuff. I'm also excited about Kingdom Hearts anime series. It's been greenlit for Disney Plus. I mean, anime, I think, is another way that Disney can be relevant, because so many people like, K-pop Demon Hunters and other anime projects. That is probably the biggest thing that's been going on, is the rise of anime. The Star Wars Visions that I've seen was really, really good. So Kingdom Hearts anime series on Disney Plus, and I think it's going to bring about a lot of great crossover with all of the Disney characters. So excited about what's going on, Dave. But that is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to D23. Sold out, Dave. I mean,
listen,
fans are eating it up.
I hope all the fans that attended had a great time. I just hope nobody went into debt to go there. I really,
I hope
I hear
not.
these stories over the years of people just, going into credit card debt to try and get to these things. And it's just, come on, folks. It's great being a fan of all of this. And, but it's like, you really don't go into debt over it,
No, no, no. We shouldn't. Dave, the box office. Okay, so here we are with the box office. I'm going to refresh my feed, but the box office, man, Spider-Man. What can I say? It is absolutely a juggernaut of a film. I mean, billions, maybe on its way to $2 billion at the
Oh,
box office, Dave.
honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if this crosses the 2 billion mark because it's just absolutely incredible. It's been hanging in there. I think this past weekend, its third weekend, it did like another 65 or $70 million at the box office. It just
Yeah,
got
yeah.
amazing legs to it.
Look at this, Dave. The box office year to date, we're up 18% over last year. That's huge. I mean,
Oh God, yeah.
people would love to see 15% growth year over year, 18% year over year. My goodness.
And you know why, Aljon? Because there's a bunch of really great movies that have come out. The Odyssey, Toy Story 5, Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
And there's more to come. And
Absolutely.
I just sit there and go, this is what people want. They want great movies to draw them. And also, you know what? You got Gen Zs, are going back to movie theaters. They're starting to put the technology down. They're starting to pick up vinyl records. They're buying hardback books. They're going to movie theaters. They're using film
Video stores,
cameras.
Dave.
They're
Video stores.
Yes, they're using
Video
film.
stores.
They're using film cameras to take pictures. I mean, for crying out loud, this is fantastic, I think. And again,
Do you think this is a revival? You're saying it now. This is a revival, isn't it? I mean, the fact that we have a mobile video store in Nashville, like a Blockbuster, that is selling grab bags of like, here DVDs, $15 for a bag. Go ahead and get you the Nicolas Cage collection. Get the collection of whatever it is, Sex in the City on DVD, whatever. I think it's amazing that this is happening. It's like the Blockbuster video revival. People want to go out, not stream. I think there's going to be a little bit of an uptick for people to buy those vinyl albums. I mean, my vinyl collection's growing, and people are just starting to just join those clubs where they get delivered a curated vinyl collection every single month. I mean, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Look, I think it's fantastic. But something, it's not just, I don't think, a fad. I think it's going to be around for a little bit. I think these things come and go over time. Everybody thought vinyl records were dead. I've got a whole collection of vinyl records that have come out in recent years from Walt Disney Records. They're all
I
putting
think
out.
yeah.
They're all putting out limited edition vinyls with images on them and stuff like that. I think they're fantastic. So you know what? It's just wonderful to see this happen, and I think more and more people should be spending less time on their electronic devices and out in the world enjoying experiences like the communal experience of going to a movie theater. Which
100%, Dave.
Aljon, since we started this podcast, we've talked about it on and on at nauseum. I try to go to the movies almost on a weekly basis because I
Yes.
love being in an auditorium with an audience and seeing a fantastic movie on the screen, and be able to laugh and scream and cheer and applaud and all of those things.
Gasp.
Or scream in horror.
That's right.
When you're watching these wonderful films on a big screen. So I would have liked to have seen Don.
100%.
I would have liked to have seen Don Hahn's film Huzz on a big screen someplace. I mean, I think some of these documentaries should have even a limited run at some key theaters, so you could see it on a big screen.
Well, there you go. I mean, I think maybe they should have that over there at what is it, the Hyperion? What is that theater over there? Anyway, um, they should, and they should have
The El
these
Capitan,
matinees.
the
El
the
Capitan, El
Capitan on
Capitan.
Hollywood Boulevard. And
There
I
you
don't
go.
know. Maybe they did a special premiere and screened it.
Oh,
But I mean, I think
there
they
you
should have
go.
limited run for some of those things. And by the way,
Absolutely.
have you noticed, Aljon, there's more and more concert films coming out. They're going out in
Yes.
limited runs. I think there's the Grateful Dead at Giant
Yes.
Stadium
Yes.
is playing in a limited run at my local theater. I would love to see more of that out in the movie theaters.
Well, and I think they will. I mean, you've got the not only the music biopics like the Beatles, but also the Led Zeppelins, the Queens, those kind of stories that are larger than life, that will be really great on the big screen because man, those rock bands are like superhero films. They are
Yes.
larger than life characters. And you saw the Zeppelin, becoming Led Zeppelin Part 1 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That Sony put out. That thing was amazing. Like, I mean, you talk about lovingly handcrafted filmmaking, documentary making. That was amazing. So
yeah, where's part 2?
yeah.
What have you done for me lately, Sony? Where's part 2?
Come on. Come on, man.
I want you to start with and spend time on Stairway to Heaven, my friends. I want to see a live performance of that.
Got to be. I mean, honestly, wouldn't they just be well served to just put Song Remains the Same on IMAX? Like, wouldn't they just do that?
I would love to see it.
Let's just do it.
I'd love
Let's
to see
just do it.
Yeah.
Come on, Sony. Okay, so $3 billion, Spider-Man Brand New Day, The Odyssey, Paw Patrol coming out with the dinos. I mean, that's just movie toy making right there. All wishes come true. That's interesting. Very interesting trailer for that. Toy Story 5 hanging in there, Minions and Monsters. Man, family films making a big comeback over the summer. Chippewa, the movie, Moana hanging in there, To Your Island and Obsession rounding things out for the top 10. Dave, Bob Chapek makes the news.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to bring this up. I read this article when it hit the Hollywood Reporter. I have to tell you, wow, there's got to be a lot of people that are sweating. You know, there's got to be a lot of folks. I'll be curious to see how he handles this. I'm looking forward to reading his book. I've known Bob for decades. And again, it's going to be real interesting to see his side of the story because quite frankly, I do feel like he was set up for failure.
Yes.
To some degree, he was sort of thrown the reins to the Walt Disney Company just as the pandemic was about to unfold. Talk about, throwing somebody in the deep end, with a cinder block in their arms. You know what I mean? It's just
yes,
terrible.
I agree. Okay, so ousted, the Hollywood Reporter's headline is ousted Disney CEO Bob Chapek writing tell-all memoir. The exec is planning a memoir Behind the Castle Walls, which will be released this September and addressed his tenure post Bob Iger. As he returns, he had a very small window, but in that time, I think conspiracy theorists will say that he may have gotten set up, but also he didn't do himself a lot of favors either.
No. I completely agree with that. Look, I think he was set up for failure, but I also think he made a lot of missteps while he was there. And, it's going to be interesting to see. Certainly, this is not being published by Disney Editions.
Oh, hell no. That's a big hell no, Dave. Wow. I can't even imagine. Oh, my God. It's like, well, they say all press is good press, even the bad press, I guess.
You know what, though? But, I have always found Bob Chapek to be an incredibly nice guy. I dealt with him quite a bit when he was in charge of the old Walt Disney Home Entertainment and did a lot of work for that group over the years while I was at the company. Bob was a good guy. Look, I am going to eagerly look and want to read his book and hear his side of what was going on. And certainly, I know the company is not probably happy about this coming out. But you know what? You got to take the good with the bad. You know.
It was inevitable, was it not, Dave?
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly imagining he got a pretty sweet deal to write this book.
I would think, right? So behind the castle walls, my 30 years at the happiest place on earth. Spoiler alert, I think there's a twist at the end of that story, but it'll be released September 29th. Don Yeager worked on the book with Chapek with the high stakes maneuvering that unraveled behind the scenes from his 2020 appointment to subsequent dismissal in 2022. There's a lot to unpack here. There's just a lot to unpack, so I'm just going to move on.
And you can be sure that the Disney company is going to be on the defense.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
Skull Rock Podcast.
You know, you're like that little arrow on your hat, straight and shining, and that's the way I'll always remember you.
I'll always remember you.
I'll always remember you.
I'll always remember you, Sharon.
They hang you, I'll always remember you.
In memoriam.
All right, Dave, it's time now for go ahead and say it, Dave.
Obituary roll call.
Obituary
John Cipher, look at that face. I mean, what a familiar character actor. He's been on a ton of stuff. What a wonderful life he had. He passes away at 94, but, he leaves behind an incredible body of work.
Yes. Absolutely. On the big screen, he faced off against Burt Lancaster and Valdez is Coming and played Man-at-Arms in the Master of Universe opposite Dolph Lundgren. That's where I know him. Look at that steel jaw right there.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. But once again, 94 years old. And once again, go back there and check out his work. He played Prince Charming opposite Julie Andrews in the first ever live production of TV's Cinderella. Was on Hill Street Blues as Chief of Police Fletcher Daniels in all 7 seasons, and that was probably one of the most pivotal dramas of the 80s, Hill Street Blues.
Yeah.
He died August 3rd in his home in Central Point, Oregon. Another person who's passed recently is Mark Rydell on Golden Pond, and The Rose director dies at 97. Talk about pivotal movies of the 80s.
Yeah.
On Golden Pond, The Rose. I mean, those are huge, huge films, 97 years of age. Prolific in terms of the direction.
Yeah,
he received Best Director Oscar for On Golden Pond, directed by and directed Bette Midler in The Rose and For the Boys, and he passed away on Friday, Dave. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
97. Again, this is what a wonderful full life looks like. And it's just, again, he leaves behind an amazing body of work, some important films.
Unbelievable. I mean, amazing films. Once again, they should be in the registry for American Movie Classics, those films. All right, so here we are. Speaking of another classic, rest in peace, Reggie Bannister, Phantasm star. This is very sad. Bannister suffered from dementia and Parkinson's disease. He was 80. Look at that. I mean, wow, that is insane. Very sad. The heroic ice cream man, known as Reggie from the Phantasm series, a classic, by the way. You can stream on Universal, on NBC Universal.
Yeah,
he was
you
an
can
iconic
stream
horror
it.
hero.
You can stream it.
I can stream it. I love Phantasm. The ball is back, just the killer ball. The iconic horror hero who survived the Tall Man across 5 movies, dubbed the hardest working man in horror. This is true. His Phantasm maestro, Don Cusleri Bannister, died August 9th at his California cabin. He suffered from dementia and Parkinson's disease and entered hospice care last February. He was 80. Very sad, but once again, just an icon in the world of horror movies. You will be missed, and I will certainly miss you. All right, Dave, here we are. This is our interview of the week, part 2 of your epic interview with Joaquím Royo. Did I say it right?
Joaquím Royo.
Yes. Enjoy it. Sit back and relax right here on Skull Rock Podcast.
Let's do it.
Hey, let's chat.
Let's chat afterwards.
Let's chat. And he said, let's chat again.
Skull Rock Podcast. Interview time.
Well, Aljon, we are back again for week 2 with Joaquím Royo, who is in Spain, in Barcelona. And he's an art director, color stylist, visual development artist. And Joaquím, welcome back to the Skull Rock Podcast.
Great, Dan. It's great to see you again, and glad to be sharing information about my experience working in animation.
Well, it's good to have you. You know, last week we kind of ended. We were just talking a little bit about the cultures and the different artists that were working throughout the European Union in Paris at the animation studio. But I want to shift gears at the Disney animation studio in Paris. But I want to shift gears for a minute and start talking a little bit about the Asterix movies, because Asterix is a hugely popular character in France and in Europe, and they're regularly making Asterix movies, and I'd like to ask if you could talk a bit about Asterix, the genesis of Asterix, where it started, how it started, and your involvement in several of those films.
Well, about Asterix, everybody know this character, Asterix. We must remember that Uderzo was a Belgian guy, not a French guy.
Right.
And most of the artists, they had a brilliant career. They were foreign, but France had this wide way to welcome and accept artists from other areas. I know that Asterix, for example, some of the films of Asterix were producing on the studio on Bitsy Films that they were what the Disney after bought and became Walt Disney TV Animation. So some of these films were worked by the Bitsy brothers as well. So and it been evolving because there are so much albums of Asterix and so many different stories that someone just thought that it was good to bring up to screen. I had the chance as well when Disney closed in Paris to be involved in Asterix and the Vikings. So I've been doing some backgrounds for that film, and I had to be traveling from Paris to Copenhagen in Denmark, because this film was split in 2 studios, A Film and Naomi's Animation. That it was just gathering a lot of artists when they quit the studio. The studio in Paris was finished. Was got some of those artists just traveling into that film. That was a good experience as well. And after, well, recently you have the other aesthetic film with this new fashion way to represent with 3D, right? That was made completely in a Paris studio.
Can we step back for a second and talk about Asterix in America, because you did that back in 1994,
right? Yeah.
And what was your impression? Because you actually started out as an in-between artist on that.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. That was Asterix in America.
Yeah.
The one I did the background was this Asterix and the Vikings that were made that could be like 2005, 2006, something like that.
2004. Well, I'm sorry. So Asterix and the Vikings is 2006 was when it was released, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
But Asterix in America was 1994. So you had done, and I don't know how many Asterix movies there are. There must be a ton, right?
Yeah, there are a ton. Yeah. Adapted from the comic strips, and after just put it on the screen in different years by different studios as well.
Yeah. Now the Brizzi brothers did a number of them, didn't they?
That's right. Yes, they did Asterix, several of them. I don't remember exactly when because I haven't been involved. They've been working on Babar as well, the elephant.
Babar, yes, right.
Yeah, they were working as well during the period that they were working for Disney TV on the DuckTales, a lot of DuckTales.
A lot of, I'm sorry, what was it?
DuckTales.
Oh, DuckTales, yes, right.
Yeah, and as well, Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh, yeah.
They were doing things like that.
So what is it about Asterix? Why is it so popular in Europe, but not as popular in the United States?
But how to say, here we have a long tradition on comic strips, but probably less action, like I know in America, Marvel or superheroes or things like that. And here they were kind of more cartoon looking. And you have Spirou, you have cartoon like that come straight away from the comic, but not so much heroes. It's like more stylized and cartoony.
Is that, I mean, from your standpoint, the Asterix is just a beloved comic strip, right? That they've turned into these animated films. I mean, my understanding, it was first published in 1959, and it's very humorous and a lot of historical satire, and witty dialogue is really my understanding with it. I haven't seen too many of them, but I have seen a few. So it just feels like, even though it was created in Belgium, you said, but it's really beloved in France.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of even singers, even actors that they come from Belgium. They have their zenith in their career in France, and in the case of Converso, he's Belgium, but has this really explosion or boom acceptance by the people, and they had the chance to produce films with his drawings. As well, in the case of Asterix, and well, you see, it's an isolated town in between La Bretagne, La Normandie, very northwest of Galois. They against this as well is the French spirit. Small people, more freedom. Things just fighting with the huge empire, the Romans that wants to eat everything. So it's this rebel spirit against the imposition and things like that. Is something that Europe has been experiencing along the history. So I think a lot of people identifies these people that are rebels, that are minority, but they find out they have a potion that when they drink, they have superpowers, and they can just destroy troops of Romans. This is a little bit this message as well.
So I think it's fair for me to say, and I have a little research up in front of me, but the plot, the story center on villagers' resistance to Roman rule, with Asterix and his friend Obelix, often traveling the world and outsmarting Julius Caesar and his legions. And the themes, the comic blends historical settings with satire, poking fun at French culture and politics and contemporary society through their adventures. So it's something everybody can relate to.
That's right. Yeah.
It almost sound. I mean, it almost feels like it's a little bit of Asterix is a little bit of the Peanuts comic strip. It's that popular over there, right? You know, are you
Oh,
familiar
yeah.
with Charles Schultz Peanuts in the
That's right.
U.S.?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's sort of like it's their top comic strip. I mean, obviously different, but endearing and something that the masses can relate to.
Yes, yes. And you see the three characters, right? Asterix, Obelix, one is small and thin, and the other one is really big, with a
Yeah.
small head and is holding a dolmen. And you have this funny character, Idefix is the little dog that always go around there. And as well, he defines a lot of different uh, characters. It's very, very depicting the French character as well, you know? You have one that is very take action, that is determined, that is with a long mustache as well, like the Galois. And you have Obelix that is always eating wild boar, right? With a huge, she's always eating.
Yeah.
And yeah, so everything goes around these.
I mean, it's sort of reminiscent of the comedy teams like Laurel and Hardy or
That's right.
Jackie
Yeah.
Gleason and
That's correct.
you know, and the character Ed Norton. There's Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. You know, it's those kind of comedy teams.
Yes, so complementary characters.
that are they're characters that complement one another and are
Yes.
Abbott and Costello, another comedy team.
Yes.
So it's sort of patterned on that, which I think is it seems to work really well in comedy.
That's correct. Yeah? As well, you have the druid in that is a kind of like the priest that is kind of a judge, if good advice. They're going to him for the spiritual things, but as well, he's the one that prepares the formula to give them to have this extra power. And you have the other character that is a girl, very sexy with very rounded shapes that Obelix is in with that girl, you know, just to bring variety on their story, right? To soften out this continuous battle where they are just punching, romance, hit them, beating them, and a battle that they finish with a huge cloud where you see, we, and after you see the whole troop is just devastated, and the two heroes like, we won, right? A minority against the big ones that may want to hurt France. It's a little bit that as well.
So you worked as an in-betweener on Asterix in America, but on Asterix and the Vikings, you became a background artist. So
right.
I'm imagining after all your time at Disney, because you were a background artist and a background supervisor at Disney, you have stuck with doing backgrounds and art direction and color styling and all of that, right?
I've been jumping from one to the other, depending how was the necessity.
What the project particularly needed.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. I've been jumping from one thing to the other one.
So I'm curious. I'm curious with the animation business in Europe. Is it much more project driven, where you move from studio to studio and follow where the work is?
In our profession, is this all the time. I quit my country when I was 24 years old. So I've been more outside than in my own country. I came back
you were living in France longer than you've been living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, well, it was not really an industry here in Spain. Very good talent, excellent talent.
Yeah.
But taken by big companies. You have Raúl García, for example, or Sergio Pablos. You have Juanjo Guarnido, and some of the Spanish artists that they were bringing. We were struggling a lot just to get very high standard. And foreign companies like Disney, DreamWorks, or others just pick it up us. And after, when I came back here just 5 years ago, thanks COVID, because I was living at that time in Germany, and we couldn't go to office because there was this confinement, right? So I said, okay, I have my home here in Lloret de Mar, close to Barcelona, and why to stay in two places when I can be doing via internet, uh, do things digitally. So that's the way I just quit Germany and came back here and working from I'm working nowadays for Dubai and Berlin, and I'm working from here and managing as well the teams from here all over the world, basically by video conference.
Well,
No,
and
this has changed.
but I mean, I think when the pandemic hit, the technology was at a place where it became very easy to work remotely.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, you could
And I
do.
tell you, yeah, and it works the same way. We thought that companies were thinking, okay, we don't have on our eye, we can supervise to see physically the people, so the production is going to be going down, or something is going to be loose there. Well, it's going to be loose the fact that we live with a team daily, right? But
Yeah.
in terms of work, no, everything has been done and very well done. So,
Yeah. Well, but I mean,
yeah.
with technologies like Zoom, it's very easy to just jump onto a Zoom call with somebody, show them something, say, well, I'm doing this, and they give you notes back right in real time. And then you're like, okay, great. And you know, the only thing I would say about working remotely is you miss out on those accidental meetings when you run into a colleague when you're getting a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, or
Exactly.
you're walking
This
down
is
the
what
hall and you see somebody and you stop and you talk to them and then you bounce an idea off of them. So you miss that part.
Yeah, exactly. More the human contact where you are working, but as well you have a discussion just aside, and you see people.
Yeah.
Then you have a list of meetings to attend. You have a work to do. You distribute your time, but I mean, this kind of social that you have in a team when you are physically in the studio, that has changed.
Yeah.
And well, something we should one day to have a long conversation of that is when we jump from doing everything traditional, and suddenly Disney say, okay, you have a silicon graphic here, 2 amazing screens with a super tower, but now you're gonna paint on a path here, and you see an arrow that paints on the screen. That was hell, man. That was hell. For us that we are used to paint and draw traditionally, that we had backgrounds with 2 meters or that size or bigger size, that you didn't have the need to zoom in and zoom out, that you can see, you can stain to pass digitally. It was a pain in the butt.
Well, let me ask you about that. Did you transition from painting traditionally with the brush and paint to painting digitally?
That cost me 3 months of nightmare.
Was it?
Until I find out, until I find out that is just a new media. Okay, you paint on watercolors and you paint in oil is a different medium part. What is involved, if you know the fundamentals or not, until I understood that you can achieve the same thing, that the knowledge as an artist is there, but the only thing it changes the media that you are using. There was an adaptation. It took me 3 months until I understand some shortcuts and painting here, seeing out there that you can zoom, that can speed up. But it was practice. I was very stubborn on that. But it's sad to say, it was colleagues of mine amazing artists, but amazing artists that have been producing a lot of artwork. They just quit the profession because they couldn't adapt.
Because they couldn't do the transition.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't. They are now.
Is it that they couldn't, or they just didn't want to?
They are both.
Yeah,
they are both. I mean, some of them they were probably older than me, and nowadays the young they know how to use an iPhone, how to use a computer from very very early stage. In our period of time, that we all learn how to use pencils, brushes, paint. All this was a real handicap for us.
So it was a hell of a transition for you, but once you made it, now it's second nature to you, right?
That was why I jumped into video game.
Ah, okay.
Normally you have Lion King, you have a Hunchback of Notre Dame, that you have normally 1,000, 500,000, 700 people working together in a game with 30 people, 40 people. You can do a product, and it's very agile. You don't need to long meetings because you don't tell a story that lasts 1 hour and a half. But as well for me, it's like, okay, that was my pain in the butt. That was it was like that smidge, just that I just quit even my profession myself because I said I don't want to keep working like that. I'm used to other things, but this caused me a real pain, and I said, okay, now a new door is open for me. Is technology, and video games support that, because the iPhones and the devices, it jumped from old ones to new ones in a matter of 3 years, 5 years, okay? And you need to adapt constantly. And that for me, that challenge, say, okay, Joaquim, now is the time that you jump into another thing to get access digitally to the system, platforms, apps. That is another thing.
But
I'm now deep as well. Sorry. Let's not close our eyes. Even I have to confess that I hate it. But is what is waiting for us is AI.
Yeah,
that's we can do that.
But
I have serious problems.
The thing I would say though, and I've had this conversation with Aljon about AI, is that it's another tool. It's like it's like the digital technology. It's another tool that you need to learn, and that tool is going to help make you more efficient. But it's a tool. You have to tell the tool what to do. And you might appreciate this because I've often used the example that you could paint some color keys and then use AI to take your color keys and give you 10 different color variations.
Right.
And instead of having to do that yourself, you could let the machine do that. It's still your work, because you're directing it. You've created the base piece of art, and you say, and you painted it in one particular way, and now you say, oh, well, show it to me with like 5 other colors variations, warm, cool, this, that,
But you touch a key point there. I mean, there are people and there are studios that are using AI, and they are managed with people with basic fundamentals. Okay.
Yeah.
The machine doesn't think for you. For example, I've been working in the project. I recently been working on the medieval empires, for example. We design warriors, right? Turkish warriors, crusaders, warriors in a very realistic way. But the machine is giving you warriors, for example, with 6 fingers instead of 5.
Right.
Or instead of 1 arrow, he put 5 arrows just pointing out different directions. I mean, things like that. What I'm experimenting, and I'm very, very early stage on that, but I see the results, and that is what I say, okay, this is coming and coming fast, because this is the beginning of this. Just let it 5 more years, 10 more years, and this machine is going to be unstoppable. That is a fact. I mean, even if I'm not really fan of that, but what I do, because it gives you different solutions, but still you have to domesticate them to be a tamer, right? What I do is doing my sketches, my drawing, my painting, doing Photoshop, put it inside the engine, and give me different options. I take it in Photoshop, I retouch it again, put it inside until you like the robot to do what I want to. But you need an artist that is able to do that. The machine, it doesn't think, it doesn't create. It doesn't have the soul that has is to give this emotion on the thing.
It's the technology is only as good as the person who is using it and the knowledge that they have in directing what they want and creating what they want. I felt like when with all the AI conversations going on, a lot of that was similar to what I heard 35, 40 years ago when computers were first coming into the workplace.
Yes.
It's the same type of same type of comments. People felt like the computer was going to take their job and this and that. We're hearing the same thing with AI, and again, I don't think that's the case. I think AI is another tool for people to use.
Yes, it is, but it has to be in the right hands. We have to think that big companies, the goal is to produce money. And they give the projects to people that have the skills to convert brilliant ideas into money.
Yeah.
Okay. Why we jump from traditional using painting and brushes and they came with a computer? Why? Because you don't have to store paint, you don't have to store storage paper, you don't have, and with a machine with a good memory can stock, I don't know, 1,000 million of data.
Yeah.
Data has a cost. Okay, so it's a cost limitation. So AI as well is to be faster and less costly. But what I see as well, and I have to say, what I see because I see portfolio reviews, I see works from people that they say, okay, I engage 2 artists, and after with the AI, they manipulate AI, we're gonna see something brilliant. Well, it's coming out very, very nice things. That's true. That's why I think in some more years, even it's gonna be even more astonishing artwork. But as well, nowadays I see things artistically doesn't have soul. They look the same, and yeah, and I think whatever, or the companies think that whatever could be an artist, and that's not true. You
Right.
need to fundamentals with things after, as you said, is a tool, but in the good hands can produce amazing work. But if not, just to produce, and I'm not so keen on.
Yeah, I mean, it's the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have the knowledge or the training to use the tool isn't going to produce anything good because it's all up to the person that's the operator, the person who's using the tool. If you don't have the talent, the software isn't going to make you talented. You have to have the talent to use the software or the AI program or whatever.
But as well, what I see is, as I told you, we are the prehistory of AI. With more years, and this tool is going to be amazingly sharp. I remember in a smaller scale, but it was exactly that. We were working devs at Disney and an artist. And I remember, for example, for Tarzan, and using Deep Canvas, every week we were sending a report to the devs to say, okay, we would like to have this, that. We give them to them, and in 1 week, it's amazing that in return that the tool, the digital tool, was evolving until we create amazing things to this collaboration between technicians and artists. I think that as well, AI is going to be going by that process. Nowadays, the net it has stopped so many artwork, so many points of approaches, and as well, the people that work on these tools, they are receiving as well this feedback, and it's going to be the tools getting better, not only in 2D, but in 3D. You have already platforms as well that they are able to put a drawing in 3D and after animated, and as well you can combine different platforms to create even to be more sharp and efficient. But you need the knowledge on that.
And I just want our listeners to be clear on what you were saying. You'd be working on a digital platform, painting a background digitally on Tarzan, and you'd want some new tools or be able to do certain things, and you could go to the software developers and tell them what you needed, and in a couple days or a week, they would deliver a new brush or a new type of tool to you digitally that you could use because they were writing the software. And again, that continues to go on with the software engineers creating new tools and better tools for the artists to use.
Right. Thanks God, Tarzan was still the tradition.
Yes.
Just was a deep canvas that this had. We only work on 14 scenes because executives just came and say, "Hey, you're exploding the budget with that. We can't afford that everything." And as well, there was another handicap because we had the vision of the artist that we paint amazing backgrounds, so detailed, and as well on the canvas, even we work in that way that every single brushstroke worked like a scheme of a turtle or whatever, with a very minimal ratio that you don't see how they overlap. But in the whole aspect of that, it looks a painting that is moving. But you will notice as well that the backgrounds evolve very, very, very high and very, very well. But the characters on the top of it, they look flat.
Yes.
They just have a flat color, okay, with a shade and just a tiny bit of light, or go double light on just causing the effect of the leaves. So there was not a connection scene, I noticed that.
And you know something, I think when they were working on Tarzan, I think there were people making comments because of the deep canvas backgrounds were digitally done, that why aren't we doing the characters digitally, and then lighting them and all of that. So those conversations were starting to happen at the end of the 1990s, and that was the beginning of the sort of ultimate transition to start doing just completely digital films. Yeah.
But the cost of the film you have to multiply by 5, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean I think management thought that bringing in the computer technology was actually going to reduce costs. It actually expanded the costs. And to this day, it still is expanding the cost because the movies are coming out. They're spending, $150 and $200 million to make these features. It's a far cry from what they were spending when they were doing all hand drawn. Or even a combination, a hybrid film.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me ask you, as we're coming up towards the end of our session, what do you see happening in animation in Europe? Do you see it continuing to be sort of fragmented and project by project driven? Are there any studios that are holding on to people?
I think so. It's going to be like that. There are not really too much projects. If you check LinkedIn and you check, there are a lot of people who are open to work. That means that, well, like always, it's been a waving. There are moments that they are a hole where there's no work, and suddenly there's an explosion of work because there are a lot of projects.
Yeah.
And and we need artists there. And I think as well the political situation that we are going through have an impact as well. Investors are holding back because they have exactly to talk about what's going on. So you see less projects, and the people is scared about where I put the money. What happens if a war just comes here, or there's something down with the economy and things like that? That has a social impact on these. But the artists are there. There are more and more schools, more advancing technology in people that want to create and want things. I see that when I go to different schools, like it could be Goverland, like it could be Valley Fairmont, or I see the Arts as well. I see it in that, or when you see other schools here in Spain, or others all over, or the animation workshop in Viborg in Denmark. Yeah, people really wanted to, and very creative and very talented. We need good stories, I think. Something that catch the attention of the audience, that are not like, okay, we already seen that. The people want to see something different, something that wakes up this illusion, this let's say this impression. I want more of that. Or that is something not seen, an innovation, right? It's like in a period of time when everything, like in painting, everything looks kind of the same, and suddenly it appears one artist that it breaks the rules, come up with something new, and everybody wants just to go beyond this line. And I think we are in a moment that we need that as well. I think that the films on 3D, they're very good, but we are seeing the same all the time.
Yeah.
And I've seen Klaus, for example, is a break. I've seen something that the others doesn't have. And it's this kind of artist touch, not based in technology, in just money. It touches the soul of the people. When the people, because this is the difference between a craftsmanship and an artist. A craftsmanship is able to, with the skills, just to produce. It can be repeated. But an artist is the one that, even with a little bit of means, a few means, is able to touch the emotion, to wake up on something that when you quit the cinema or watching the project, you still remember in years. And we need more of that. We remember Bambi, we remember Snow White, we remember Toy Story 1, we remember Lion King. We need things like that. Key moments, like pam, 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 that wake up, that we want more.
Those
and
big,
it's just
those hit movies, the ones that
Right.
really stand out and stick around for generations.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We need a little
yeah.
bit of that.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
What's happening.
I'm
Look
sorry?
what's happening now with. Look what's happening now with Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Now is a boom. Now
Yeah.
is a boom.
Yeah.
You see, we need something. The people that think about how to attract the people. What we gonna do to make something? They did this. They did it with like.
Yeah.
So we need to get more of that.
What's the future for you? Are you retired, or are you gonna retire? Are you still working?
I'm gonna be retired when I close my eyes, man.
When you what?
When I close my eyes, I mean I'm gonna pass away. Oh yeah,
I like that. You
No, I can.
always have to be busy. You always have to be working, right?
Oh yeah. How I can say I'm gonna retire, I'm not gonna touch a brush or a pencil? No
Right.
way, man. That
You're an
people tell me
artist.
that, right?
You're an artist.
I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, I like to work on projects I'm very attracted for.
Yes.
For example, even if I something that middle age, the topic is very nice. I could give a lot of input as well. I've been surrounded with a group of artists in my team that was just amazing, and the collaboration is really really good. We work very very agile. We listen to everybody. I mean, even me being an art director, I need to know the opinion of others, right? I don't have the science that only me hold. I don't like micromanagement as well. I have a lot of respect for people. But as well, what I do, I think that we can't give from us unless that we feel love ourselves as well. So
Yeah.
I need to still keep going on building up my fundamental skills for what I do. Weekends, or when I take my day free, I take my easel, canvas, and go to the mountains, Pyrenees. I have here, whatever. I put my easel and paint my oil painting, or I paint my daughters, or I do some stuff. I need to fit in to understand how light works, how the different palettes of color works, how the sun have a heat on or whatever thing that moves. And I can work more longer than 1 hour and a half because the sun has moved, the palette has moved, the cloud has changed the shape and whatever. So it has to be spontaneous. So I need to capture. I'm training to capture the moment, moment, the light. This is what I'm trying to bring in films and video games as well. So I'll think I'll be more kind of selective what kind of films I would work, kind of video games, and painting, and just working for me and allowing others take profit that of my skills. But I'm really working for me rather.
So you see the future is bright with animation in Europe.
Hard to say, man.
Take a day at a time, right? Day at a time.
Yeah, but nowadays, aside of some companies that they are well, you have Lucasfilm in London, you have in France with Universal is that they produce the Minions until how is called this company now? I have a whole in my mind. Or you have Disney as well.
Yeah.
Marvels, but they've been a lot of lays off as well. So you have a lot of talent rolling around. We need more projects that and the people exist. Just we can take them and make them. But nowadays, okay. To be honest, I'm thinking of me now.
And that's
having
it.
Fun.
Having fun.
Yeah.
And being able to pick up on projects that you want to work on.
Like the one exactly like the one we're having now. I mean, that's very interesting just to analyze where we are and what's in the future, what is in store, and as well. This is what I transmit as well when I do master classes or I go to schools is to try to transfer this passion that has been grabbing me all my career. I mean, unless that you do the things with passion, it better you stop, right?
Right.
Because if you believe in the things and you put enthusiasm, it's going to be affecting the project, the company, and as well the people would like to work with you because they want that.
That is
people like that in the teams.
I think that is the one word, the common denominator amongst all the artists who have been successful in animation is that you have a passion. You love what you're doing. And if you don't have that passion, you should go find something else that gives you the passion.
Totally right.
Yeah.
Totally right. And it's not about thinking about the money that you're going to get at the end of the month to pay your bills. It's like, okay, this job, to make it right, to make it good, I have to spend 2 hours more on that. It's not translated on the satisfaction of doing your work, being professional. This payoff.
Yeah.
This is what I want. And after the companies pay you because they say, hey, this guy is doing the things that we like and it's outstanding. This is what it pays you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you something.
Yeah.
My house, my car, my bank accounts, when I pass away, I'm not going to take this with me, man.
Right.
What I take with me is those amazing moments that I have shared with other artists, teaching, learning, doing the things that I like, that build up my person. The day I close my eyes and say, okay, I have the satisfaction to have done what I wanted to do.
You're going to take your passion and your soul.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. That's it. I'm going to remain.
Well, with that, I'm going to say thank you so much for being on the Skull Rock podcast, Joaquim.
Thank you very much to you.
It's really been a pleasure talking with you. I absolutely have enjoyed it. And it's great getting the perspective of a European artist in the animation business. So thank you for sharing your experiences with us here at the Skull Rock podcast.
Thank you to you as well. And as well, it shows that you have passion as well, because you're spending your time on allowing others know about all these that is behind the stage, right? That normally the people don't see, but we are putting open the door that allows others to see what's behind all that.
Hey there, this is Joe Lancicero, retired Imagineer, and you're listening to the Skull Rock podcast.
Let's get out of here!
Come on, Scotty, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here, Lieutenant.
All right, Dave. Part 2 in the can. Joaquím Royo. Yes, I'm finally getting the name right. Please forgive me, Joaquím. But we love you having you on as a guest here on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really wonderful talking to him. He was really a gentle soul and very talented guy. And I love getting the European perspective on the animation that's going on over there.
It's fresh.
Yeah, really terrific.
I like it.
It was wonderful talking to him. And
absolutely,
I do want to mention to our listeners, we have some incredible guests coming up, some veteran people that are going to be joining us. I mean, we have interviews, Aljon, that are in the can all the way through February of 2027.
Oh,
and they're multi-part interviews with some folks that have just absolutely incredible stories to tell.
I mean, I'm looking at these stories and these interviews coming up, and I can't wait, because these are people's whose stories are greatly unsung, right?
Yeah.
These are unsung people.
Well, some of them, but there's a few in there that are people that I think are, pillars of the animation renaissance that, we're gonna hear from. And I'm just thrilled. And by the way, I am going to be heading to Paris again in the fall for several weeks. And I am going to try and pick up some interviews of some people that I've worked with who live over there now. So,
that's awesome.
So
good.
I'm hoping that we'll get some great interviews to play here on the Skull Rock podcast. So I just wanted folks to know there's no end to this, because Aljon, when we started this 6 years ago, I mean, for crying out loud, I thought to myself, oh, we're only going to be able to do this for maybe a year or two, and that'll be it, because I'm just going to run out of people to interview. But that is not the case. We have so many people that are coming back. Some who have been on that are coming back, but so many new people that are coming up. It's crazy.
100%. And not only that, Dave, but I'm going on vacation. I think I'm going to Mexico. So I'm going to Mexico in the fall. I'm going to Anaheim in January. I'm going to China in December. So we're going to be putting these shows together, and it's going to be virtual Dave or virtual Aljon for some of them. But we're going to have amazing stuff going on, and this is new information, Dave.
Yeah,
so,
this is awesome. It's awesome.
So yeah, we're going to be traveling around. Dave, thank you so much once again. Happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And when this episode launches, the Skull Rock Podcast 300 giveaway will already be in the can. I'm going to be making the announcement, and we'll be talking about it in the upcoming show. But I will make the announcement when the show launches, who is going to win out of the the people that have registered. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thousands of people who have registered.
Yes, the thousands and thousands of people who've registered to win. But it'll be amazing. It'll be one for sure. So we'll note that in the middle of the episode, we'll roll the tumbler. And we'll make it happen, because we're recording this on Sunday, and it launches on Monday. And tonight at midnight, I'm going to make that drawing. So good luck to everybody. Once again, if you love Disney and pop culture, subscribe to our show on your favorite platform. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on X, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. Go ahead and check that out. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to visit skullrockpodcast.com. The whole vault of shows over the past few years is in there as well. You can also send us an email. We would appreciate that. Links in the show notes. Check me out, Aljon Go, on X, Instagram. You can find me as well. Know that Dave's on LinkedIn, so am I. You can also hit us up on that. But definitely Instagram is the best place to hit me up. I'm there all the time. And please check out my other podcast, Dining at Disney Podcast. We have new content coming out every single week, including guides to the parks and everything like that. We'll have a link to the Skull Rock Podcast Patreon when we have it relaunched. It's going to be great. And a big shout out to our friends at Source Radio at srsounds.com. All Disney music all day long at srsounds.com. Dave?
Well, as always, you can hear me monthly on the Tunes Behind the Tunes on Sirius XM, Disney Hits, Channel 133. During the month of August, I am spotlighting Winnie the Pooh, written by the Sherman Brothers and performed by the Disney Chorus. So you can check that out on the Tunes Behind the Tunes on Sirius XM, Disney Hits, Channel 133. Also, if you want any of my books, you can get many of them signed by me at theoldmillpress.com. I'll be making some announcements in the future, in the coming weeks, about pre-orders for my new book, Walt Disney World War II Animation on the Front Lines, which, by the way, Aljon, I got and reviewed the proofs on the book on Friday and last Friday, and I am just blown away. I am so excited about this book. 384 pages, Aljon, and it's a hefty 10 by 13. This is a big book, let me tell you.
Wow.
Yes. And so I'm really excited about that. I'll have more announcements about this in the coming weeks. You can always check out my website, davidbossert.com, and also check out me on patreon.com/davidbossert. That's right, patreon.com/davidbossert. The link is in the show notes. I am putting up more and more privileged content. I'm pulling the curtain back. I'm showing more stuff that I'm not putting up on social media. So you can check that out. And with that, Aljon, I would say go out and have a fantastic week. Enjoy yourselves. All the fans who went to D23, recover this week by listening to the Skull Rock Podcast. And we'll see you back here next Monday, right here on the Skull Rock Podcast.